Hello, my fellow Americans, and the rest of YouTube. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. I want to thank Jason for his comment. He says it very clearly. Rights are not dependent upon other people. I mean, when you think about it, that's it. It's so clear. Let me give you a simple example. I don't know how long you've been watching my videos, but I think during my first year, I mentioned about the rule of 3. You can break things down into 1, 2, and 3 because anything beyond that can be broken down to 1, 2, or 3. Let's say you're the only person on an island. You can pretty much do whatever you want, right? Everything is your right. Now let's say let's introduce another person into the mix. So let's say you gather a bunch of firewood for your fire. Well, if they come over and want to take your firewood, you're going to have a problem with that. You say, no, go gather your own. So they go gather theirs, you gather yours. Right? You got a right to firewood, but you don't have a right to take the firewood that somebody else gathered. Now let's add a third person in the mix. Let's say you're all of equal strength. So 2 of you decide to gang up on the other one and say, hey, you know what? You've got this big pile of firewood, and we all have a right to be warm at night, so you're going to have to give us some of your firewood. And he's like, yo, go get your own. He goes, no, we have a right to be warm. And so since there's 2 of them, you can beat up the guy that's resisting. You see, that's the way it works. We got these big guys called the government. They've got the guns, they've got the numbers. And so when you get somebody like the Bernie Sanders supporters and the Obama aid drinkers talking about right to health care, right to college, and all these other rights, see, those rights are dependent upon other people. Because if the other people weren't there, then they wouldn't have those rights. They couldn't fulfill those rights. I mean, think about it. If they couldn't confiscate somebody else's money through taxes at gunpoint, who would be paying for the education? Who would be paying for the health care? They couldn't do it. Now, my buddy Mikey wants to argue from his communist socialist standpoint that, but wouldn't it be great if everybody did this? And I spoke with him earlier, and he was saying, no, I'm coming from a humanities standpoint. Well, you see, that's all well and good. But the problem is that your humanity might not be the same as mine, so you should not be trying to impose yours upon me. A perfect example is, here in Mayberry, for years, this group of people have been trying to get everybody to pay for a swimming pool because they think Bandon needs a swimming pool. But the good voters of Bandon have voted it down every time they put it on the ballot. Every time. And they keep trying and keep trying, and it keeps getting voted down. So finally, they did what they should have done in the first place. They formed a little committee or organization or tax-exempt company or whatever, and all the people that wanted a swimming pool contributed to the fund. Well, they finally got enough money where they can go out and buy some land and build the pool. But see, that's the way it should be. That's the way it really should be. That those who want, they step up to the plate, they put up, rather than try and take from somebody else to get what they want. So Jason, once again, I really appreciate that comment, because rights are not dependent upon anybody else, a true right. Because if they are, then you're imposing your will upon somebody else. You're going to take from them. And why people can't see that, I guess it's because they don't use logic and reason. They're coming from emotion. It's like I told my friend Mikey, I said, you know, you need to go live on a commune and see how you like it, where, you know, if you do more work than the other person, they're just going to come and take what they think is their fair share. I don't think you'd put up with that for long. So, my fellow Americans and the rest of YouTube, when it comes to rights, just remember, it's not dependent on other people. Because if it is, then you need to wake up and smell the tyranny.